It seems like every device in our lives is spying on us.
Our vacuum cleaners send photos and audio from our bedrooms to China. Our televisions take screenshots of what we're watching every few seconds and share this data with third parties. Social media algorithms analyze our every click and scroll and sell it. And governments leverage these tools to watch us more closely than ever before.
It's easy to feel pessimistic, even hopeless, about the future of privacy in a world so deeply intertwined with technology.
In fact, if you only watch the first half of our videos, you might think that we hate tech. Tech is spying on us. Tech is tracking our location. Tech is allowing governments and corporations to invasively overreach into our lives. But actually, I'm very much a tech optimist. If you also watch the second half of our videos, you'll hear us say, this is the tech that will protect us. Here is the tech that empowers us. Here's how to use technology to reclaim our digital freedoms. In this video, I'll explain why I'm a tech optimist and believe that we have all the tools at our disposal to write a better future. The solution to surveillance isn't throwing out our devices. It's embracing the amazing privacy tech available to us.
I'll give you an overview of some really cool privacy tools that already exist that you can start using today.
And I'll share the latest advancements in privacy tech and some groundbreaking innovations currently in development. So let's start by explaining why I'm a techno-optimist.
It surprises many people because I run a research and media institute focused on surveillance tech and the erosion of privacy.
But I think many people have been tricked into thinking that tech is the problem rather than the solution. Just look at the comment section of our videos. Every time we bring up a privacy solution, there's always a crowd ready to dismiss it, insisting that if you want privacy, you have to throw out your digital devices.
I want to get completely off the grid.
You don't have to throw out your devices, actually, and we're constantly suggesting solutions that improve privacy and still allow you to use modern technology. It's as if those who benefit from surveilling us want us to believe that technology and privacy can't coexist, so that we don't even try to protect ourselves. But not only is it possible to have modern tech and privacy, cutting-edge encryption technology is actually the key to reclaiming our privacy. Here's the thing. Tech is not inherently good or bad. It's neutral. It can be used for surveillance or for privacy. It just so happens that over the past few decades, it's been hijacked primarily for surveillance.
The answer isn't to throw our hands up and admit defeat. It's to use cutting-edge technology to fight back and reclaim our privacy.
We have incredible tools at our disposal. We need to use them, build more tools, evangelize these tools, and remind people that they're more empowered than they realize. Tools that incorporate things like encryption technology might be our greatest weapon against surveillance. So now let's take a look at some of the ways current privacy tech is empowering billions of people all over the world right now. In Iran, there have been widespread protests in defiance of oppressive laws. It's resulted in internet shutdowns, the government banning private communication platforms like Signal, as well as the government banning VPNs that people might use to skirt such censorship of privacy tools. The intent is to stifle communication and mobilization, which is essential for organizing protests and sharing information without government surveillance. In response, Signal provided instructions for how users around the world could help protesters in Iran by setting up proxy servers. It's allowed those fighting for freedom to continue to coordinate activities and disseminate uncensored information, which is a vital lifeline needed to combat this severe governmental repression. Or take Mexico. It happens to be one of the most dangerous countries for journalists. There, privacy tools are a matter of life and death for many people. Those who work to expose corruption and violence of the government and cartels are routinely targeted. Encrypted communication and private data storage help these journalists protect themselves and their sources. In China, the Great Firewall imposes strict internet censorship, blocking platforms like Google, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. To access information freely, people rely on privacy tools like VPNs, Tor, and encrypted messaging apps. These tools help bypass censorship, enabling citizens to stay informed, connect with the outside world, and share their stories despite government surveillance. While the battle for digital freedom is ongoing, privacy tools remain remain a vital form of resistance and hope for millions. All over the world, privacy tech is already serving as a vital tool for individuals to reclaim freedom and resist oppression. Governments and corporations might be using tech to surveil and censor, but the people are using tech to fight back.
If you want to start integrating privacy tools into your life right now, no matter where you are in the world, where do you start?
If you want to have a private conversation with someone, end-to-end encrypted messaging apps ensure that only the sender and recipient can read your messages, nobody else. Not even the company that built the app can access your conversations, because the encryption that they use puts this data out of even their own reach. Then there are browsers, the gateway to the internet. While the most popular browsers are tracking everything you're doing, there are also privacy-focused browsers designed to stop websites and third parties from tracking you. The best ones will actively block tracking pixels, scripts, and even bounce tracking, which happens when websites route you through intermediary servers to collect data before loading a page. They also sanitize links, automatically removing trackers embedded in URLs before they're sent, protecting you from invasive surveillance. Alternatively, there are browser extensions that can also help you block unwanted monitoring of your browsing. What about search engines? The most popular search engines collect and store everything we type into them indefinitely, building detailed profiles of us to sell to advertisers. We don't have to put up with that anymore. There are privacy-respecting alternatives that don't log your searches or track you across the web. With these search engines, you don't have to worry about your keystrokes being stored in a database forever. Email has long been a privacy nightmare, with providers like Gmail analyzing the contents of every personal email you send and receive. But there are email platforms that offer end-to-end encryption for all in-network emails, ensuring that only the intended recipient can read your messages. Even when emailing out-of-network contacts, these services allow you to password protect your messages, blocking providers like Gmail from snooping on your communications. Your calendar holds incredibly sensitive information, your daily habits, addresses for all the places you visit, every appointment and birthday reminder. Most people just hand this data over to Google or Apple, but now there are private alternatives that offer end-to-end encryption and even allow you to import your Google or iCloud calendar with a single click. Transitioning to a more private calendar is super easy, and you get to take your entire calendar history and all future appointments with you. When you watch videos on the internet or listen to podcasts in different apps, your viewing and listening habits are logged to build a detailed profile of you. But there are privacy-focused apps that allow you to consume content without being tracked. There are also decentralized platforms that prevent gatekeeping that you can use as alternatives to the major players.
Now, over the past couple of decades, there's been a shift in how we handle our data. It used to be that everything was stored locally on a personal computer or external hard drive.
But with the rise of the cloud, we've traded privacy for convenience, handing over control of our files to third parties. It's allowed us to increase the amount of storage space that we have access to, but means that our files are often analyzed and data about our activities monetized. Privacy-respecting apps allow you to keep your data private, storing it locally or encrypting it before uploading it to the cloud, ensuring that only you can access it. There are tools that allow you to collaborate with others in real time and still benefit from end-to-end encryption, and cloud drives that are end-to-end encrypted and ensure that only you have access to the data in there. VPNs hide your IP address, masking your location and preventing websites from tracking you based on your geographic data. With a simple click, they strip your IP address from your internet traffic, making it harder for third parties to profile and target you. For those who want even greater anonymity, Tor is a powerful tool. It routes your internet traffic through a global network of servers, making it nearly impossible to trace your online activity back to you. It's especially useful when accessing sensitive information or browsing in restrictive environments. Over the past decade, we've witnessed incredible innovation in privacy technology. Encryption, which was once a niche topic for cryptographers, is now built into the apps that we use daily. And when we look at the groundbreaking technology on the horizon, the future becomes even more exciting. One of the most promising advancements is homomorphic encryption. It allows data to be processed without ever being exposed.
This means services can analyze your information without ever actually getting access to that information themselves. This could transform fields like finance and healthcare, Analysts could generate insights without ever seeing your private data. Medical researchers could study trends without accessing personal records. Companies could provide useful services without collecting sensitive information. The data stays private and you stay in control. This is the future we're building. This technology is still evolving, but its potential to transform how we handle sensitive data is massive. Another promising advancement is decentralized identity platforms.
Today, most identity systems rely on centralized ID mechanisms like driver's licenses, passports, and government-issued records. These systems place control of your identity in the hands of governments or institutions. The problem is they decide who gets an ID, how it's used, and what happens if you lose access to it. It creates a single point of failure. It also opens the door to surveillance, misuse, and exclusion, especially in authoritarian regimes. On top of that, these ID systems are also a privacy nightmare because they're stored in centralized databases, making them prone to hacking and breaches. Decentralized identity works differently. Individuals store and manage their own credentials. Cryptographic tools ensure that the data remains private and tamper-proof. Verification happens without exposing all your personal information. For example, normally when you have to prove your identity, you need to share everything: your name, address, date of birth, and ID numbers. Decentralized systems only prove what's needed. You can confirm your age without revealing your birth date. You can prove your identity without handing over an entire document. This protects privacy, reduces risks, and gives you control over what you share. Some decentralized platforms are already working with governments to replace traditional ID systems, but challenges remain. Governments are hesitant to give up control, but it's a powerful privacy solution in the works, and challenges the idea that a central authority needs to control your identity. Zero-knowledge proofs are another game changer. These cryptographic methods let you prove something is true without revealing the underlying data. Although the theory has been around for a long time, the first real-world implementation was in Zcash, and they've since become a powerful tool in cryptocurrency privacy to verify transactions without having to actually reveal any information about these transactions. But their applications extend far beyond finance. They can be used to verify your age without sharing your birth date, and to authenticate access to a secure system without revealing your identity. Zero-knowledge proofs are becoming a cornerstone of privacy-first systems. There are also entire infrastructures being redesigned with privacy in mind. Decentralized DNS, for example. In traditional DNS systems, for you to use the internet, your queries go through centralized servers controlled by large organizations or internet service providers. DNS queries act as a phone book that resolves domain names to IP addresses, which means that these centralized entities see every website you visit. This information can be monitored, logged, and often sold. Governments can also leverage DNS to censor content or surveil citizens. Decentralized DNS removes this central point of control. It distributes domain ownership and resolution across a peer-to-peer network, which eliminates the need for intermediaries who can log or manipulate your requests. In such systems, no single entity can observe all DNS queries or dictate which domains are accessible. It makes it much harder to use DNS to spy on and control internet activity. What about AI? It gets a bad rap when it comes to privacy because governments and corporations have long hijacked machine learning for surveillance purposes. But remember, tech is neutral. It can be used for good or bad. This applies to AI too. First, using AI doesn't have to be bad for your privacy. The most private way to use an LLM is locally on your own computer, where you can leverage powerful models without ever sending your data off to the internet. There are also privacy-focused cloud-based LLMs and decentralized AI processing, which can help both privacy and protection against censorship of information. But not only is it possible to use AI privately, AI's powerful models might actually be the key to helping people fight surveillance. Think about how powerful AI already is at creating deep fakes.
Generative AI amplifying the threat of disinformation.
Thieves can use AI to do voice cloning and create deepfake videos.
It's scary stuff in the wrong hands. But we can also use this same technique against data brokers. We can use AI to generate so much noise about ourselves that data brokers can no longer tell what's real and what's not. If their business model depends on them selling accurate profiles on us, This could be a way to make them obsolete.
Cypherpunk Eric Hughes gave a great presentation at ThoughtCon a few years ago about this use case.
AI can also be used to analyze the privacy leaks on your devices and block the unintentional sharing of data, putting you back in control of what information gets shared and what doesn't. AI has put the power of advanced computation into the hands of everyday people, meaning that it's not just governments and large corporations who get access to these tools anymore. This levels the playing field, and for the first time gives us the hope of protecting ourselves against mass profiling. Finally, it's not just technology that's advancing, it's the culture around privacy. For years, surveillance has been accepted as inevitable. Those who wish to surveil you will tell you, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear.
But that narrative is breaking down. High-profile data breaches, governments and corporations overreaching into our lives, and whistleblowers exposing abuses of power have opened the public's eyes.
Privacy is no longer just a concern for the tech-savvy. It's become a mainstream value. People are voting with their wallets, choosing privacy-respecting services over invasive ones, and demanding accountability from the companies they interact with, especially when those companies don't protect their data.
We've seen this shift firsthand. Millions of people are waking up to the invasive reality of modern vehicles. Imagine if these millions started asking their car dealerships tough questions about privacy policies before making a purchase. That shifts the needle.
Your voice matters as a consumer, especially if you're spending, $20, $40, $50, $100,000 on a vehicle. Your voice should really, really matter.
So yes, I'm a techno-optimist. We're far from powerless. We have every reason to feel energized and excited. For the first time, we have both the technology and the cultural momentum to take back our privacy.
We got here because surveillance technology advanced faster than privacy protections. For decades, companies and governments exploited this imbalance. Surveillance interests are now entrenched. And to rewrite the future will require a fight. But we'll only win it if we stop demonizing technology and understand that it's only by harnessing the powerful tools at our disposal, building more of them, and incorporating this privacy tech into our daily lives that we can actually break free from our surveillance shackles.
At the end of the day, technology is just a tool. It's up to us to decide how we want to use it. Let's create a world where technology isn't a tool of oppression, but a force for liberation. Let's choose a future where privacy thrives, not at the expense of innovation, but because of it.
nbtv is a project of the Ludlow Institute, a non-profit that researches and educates about the latest in tech privacy. Help us shift culture around privacy.
Visit nbtv.media/support to set up a monthly tax-deductible donation. And take a look at our merch shop. It is a great way to support our work, and you can look cool doing it. Happy New Year, everyone! And thank you so much to all of you who became founding members of the Ludlow Institute this week. We just launched and I am so excited about this year ahead. I think that it is going to be awesome and we're going to do awesome things together. So let's do this.